Greetings. Today, I would like to talk about the upcoming solar eclipse in Libra and why peace is a process, how peace is a process, how we can think about Libra energy and the Libra new moon and this solar eclipse gateway as an opportunity to engage with this process of creating peace and balance in our lives as well as in the world. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro perspective for Sunday, September 29th, the Libra New Moon and solar eclipse is coming up on Wednesday, October 2nd at 11:49 a.m. Pacific time. So that's the moment of the exact new moon, but the feeling of the eclipse and its energies will be rippling out, so we can feel them already. And with eclipses, we tend to be unpacking the energies and what is shifting for many weeks or even months following the actual eclipse. So with the energy of Libra, we have the beginning of the Libra moon cycle. We have the energy of Libra, which brings in themes of balance, of how we bring about balance. Think about a the old-fashioned scales where you have to have a balance on each side so that it ends up in the middle instead of with one side dropping down. Same thing with, like a seesaw or a teeter-totter on a playground. You have one side up and one side down, and you go back and forth. But the magic is really in finding that balance point where the two sides of the teeter-totter are on the same footing. So think about that energy in as you engage with the different circumstances that are showing up in your life, the different opportunities, maybe some dynamics that need to be worked out in terms of your relationships. Or your relationship with the world, your relationship with reality, your relationships with different parts of yourself. There are all kinds of different relationships we have as human beings. So, looking at this solar eclipse, so first of all, remember that eclipses are gateways. They are a special alignment of the sun, moon, and earth in a line and also in the same plane. So, when the moon forms its new moon and the earth, and it's in the same plane as the earth's orbit around the sun, we end up with an eclipse. We can have that shadow being cast that can only happen when everything's lined up just so. So with the eclipse energy, it's like a key unlocking a door. So something can click, something can shift that you might have been working on for quite some time, and suddenly finding that the conditions are right to experience some sort of shift. And the nature of evolution and healing and manifesting the things we want, creating shift in our lives, is the nature of it is that we don't know exactly what it will look like when the results that we've been trying to create appear. We don't know exactly what it will look like. So we need to have open-mindedness and open-heartedness about what we are creating, and we can anchor and shape the results through our intentions. So, as always, with a new moon, it's a perfect time to set your intentions, to plant your seeds for the coming cycle. Think of this as having a little bit more potency at this time. So really getting clear about your intentions, your positive intentions, the things that you want to step into, call into your life, create, or experience. And thinking about balance, and remember that teeter-totter and how balance means sometimes we need a little bit more push, a little bit more effort, a little bit more taking a stand. Other times we need a little bit less of those things. And so it's feeling, where is that right and true balance? Where is the balance between standing up for ourselves and listening to, maybe some perspective that is outside of ourselves? So the ability to tune in and recognize where balance is needed, itself requires some awareness, some mindfulness, some focus. So asking for these positive outcomes through setting intentions is a great way to say, hey, this is what I want to create. So I am open to learning what I need to learn in order to be who I need to be, to create that kind of balance, to create the kind of results I want that mean, right? The results mean we have to sometimes push and sometimes receive. And interestingly enough, those two energies are represented by the planets Mars and Venus. And Mars and Venus are fascinatingly in a grand trine during this exact new moon and solar eclipse. So Mars in Cancer, Venus in Scorpio, and they're both trining. They are in a trine and both trining Saturn in Pisces. So this is a water grand trine. And okay, so coming back to Mars, Mars is the energy where we need to take action. We need to pick up our sword, take a stand, push against things, move them, take risks, take actions, and create movement. It won't happen unless you take action and take risks and find your courage and move in the direction of what you want. But the other half of that, it's not going to work if you push all the time. You have to stop and you have to receive. And that, so maybe you could think about it as the inhale and the exhale, the back and forth, the pushing and moving forward, but also the receptive qualities that we need to have to just remembering that there is a need to also be present to and receive the gifts that are here, the answers that are already here, the results that are already here. And when you are taking that extra moment to be receptive, to let yourself receive, then the balance comes back and it says, okay, it can't just be all about receiving. It has to be also about what you do, who you are, how you show up. And so grand trine in water means that during this solar eclipse in Libra, we have some extra support. Trines are an easy flow of energy. We have some extra resources, some extra wind in our sails. And again, as always with the wind, you want to make sure your boat is pointed in the right direction to make the most of this influx of support. So point your boat in the direction of your intentions, what's important to you, and really getting into that deeper place of what you want to manifest, what you want to experience, what kind of outcomes you're wanting to call into your life, but also why do you want those? What are the qualities, right? So if you want to get free of a job that's stifling you, that feels oppressive, what is it you want instead, right? You want spaciousness, freedom, you want the ability to move in your own schedule, maybe. So maybe have more ability to be creative, to follow your impulses. I don't know, whatever it is. And it, doesn't have to be a job. It could be anything, right? Anything that is something you want to experience, something you want to be different than the way it is. Maybe it's a health issue. So envisioning and imagining what it feels like when you are free of this restriction, this limitation, this thing that you don't enjoy quite so much. What are the qualities that you have when that shifts? And this is a amazing energetic alignment opportunity for shift to really get clear about what those qualities are that you want, and uh, affirming them through your intentions. So we have this grand trine energy, the Mars and the Venus, the push and then the receive, right? The push it forward, but also be willing to have it just arrive, and a willingness to see it when it does arrive. Because sometimes we can get stuck in, like maybe a victim identity, or something where we're like, well, I don't, I'm wrapped up in, I'm attached to my feelings of powerlessness. And so I don't want to receive that thing because, I mean, it's not that we want to be powerless, but it's more like there's some reason why we avoid stepping into having that thing we want, right? Maybe it scares us on some level. Maybe we're afraid of what might come with it, what might follow, etc. So there's lots of things. But so with this energy of bringing about peace and remembering that peace is a process, peace is dynamic. So it involves this constant seeking of balance, this in breath and out breath, right? We need both. We need the pushing. We also need the receiving. And we have the grand trine involves Mars and Venus, both in water signs, which is flow, and energy and emotions and tapping into the deeper energetic patterns. But also Saturn energy, which is about where we need to step up our game, step into our power, step into our strength. So, laying the foundations, building the structures, the support structures, the infrastructures, the ways of getting organized that can support us in this dynamic experience of pushing forward, but also receiving. And so remembering that Libra balance, just like the teeter-totter, has the up and the down, but it also has that beautiful magical balance point right in the middle. And that balance point is where the breakthroughs happen, where the magic happens. So the ability to recognize where you need a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that, to push. Maybe you're a person who likes to sit back and wait and you need to get more into action. Or maybe you're a person who's pushing all the time and never taking that moment of pause to receive, to honor yourself, to just have that moment of gratitude where you appreciate what you have and recognize that it is through the process of appreciation that you are open to receiving more of that. So you tell the universe, yes, please, I would like more of that, when you take in the beauty that is already around you. And that is why gratitude is so powerful. We have the ability to experience the beauty and the good things around us. And when we practice gratitude for the things we love and enjoy and appreciate, again, we're telling the universe, yes, please, I would like more of this. We are opening those channels to receiving. So think about what kind of balance you might need a little bit more of, what direction might help you open up to that flow of the wonderful things that you want coming your way. Now, thinking about the the wider world and the peace process, and the fact that we don't have control over everything that's happening in the world. And in some ways, those outer experiences of imbalance might be upsetting or distressing. So remember that you are a microcosm of peace, and it is through you learning more about who you are and how you need balance in your life that when you are cultivating this place of inner peace, inner calm, finding that magic balance point where it's not too much or too little. And then feeling and being able to create that for yourself, cultivating that inwardly. That is how you contribute to this ripple effect of the world being able to find those breakthroughs. And so there are no easy answers. It's important to be true to yourself, but it's also important to remember that sometimes you have something to learn. So these are all great Libra balance things to remember. We are also in this experience, this process of Pluto in Capricorn, having gone retrograde from where it entered Aquarius a little bit last year and several months of this year, and now has gone retrograde back into Capricorn. Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn, as I've been sharing in these videos, is asking us to complete something, to do some of the hard work, to it's like, okay, didn't I clean that room already? No, guess what? There's this corner that really still needs attention, or this area of clutter and dust that you didn't see the first time or you haven't gotten to yet. So where is it that you need to continue this work, to dig a little deeper, to find this place of cleaning and clearing, releasing, letting go of old heaviness, old baggage? And again, the personal relates to the collective. So when you do this in your own life, you're contributing to the ripple effect of the world, ultimately, we hope, evolving in consciousness and stepping into more of this dynamic peace process where we recognize that it's not that anyone is wrong, it's not that anyone is completely right either. It's really about finding this balance and continuing together to move forward in how we are learning to create and operate in ways that are more healthy. And of course, sometimes balance means having boundaries and saying, there's some energy or person in your life that is not helping you to grow and to thrive and to be your best self. And you have to have a boundary and say, no, I'm not going to engage with that anymore because it doesn't serve me. It's not helpful. It's confusing, right? It throws me off balance. So where do you need to have a boundary to bring everything back into balance, where you have the agency, the spaciousness, the freedom to be who you are and to discover, right? Continuing on this path, this journey of discovering who you are and how you have an impact on the world. So Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn, and it's going to go direct some in October. I don't have the exact date in front of me, but once Pluto goes direct, then it will complete its time in Capricorn, and on November 19th, Pluto will be returning to Aquarius. So October 11th is when Pluto stations direct. We're looking forward to that. That is on its way. Right, we're heading towards that. So with this Libra eclipse, we're also, remember, in this Pluto in Capricorn completion time. So as we think about balance, as we think about peace and balance and peace as a dynamic process, we also need to remember, hey, there is some weight on this balance that doesn't need to be there anymore. And so what it is we're releasing, what it is we're bringing completion to, what it is we're discovering about ourselves as you kind of, get rid of some of this old detritus that is not needed anymore. How do you get to thrive and shine and be who you are in a way that has a positive impact on the world around you in whatever way is, right for you? And that might be in your family, it might be in your community, it might be in how you do your own personal healing work. And just by learning how to take care of yourself, you're making a positive impact for others. So, and then, creatively, whatever you have to share and offer is also there potentially to make a positive impact. So, supporting yourself to thrive through this, through self care, which we talk about on this YouTube channel, Astrology for Unshakable Self Care, as well as thinking about balance, where you need balance, what you need a little more of or a little less of. And remembering that in this process, there is a completion and a release of themes, potentially very old themes. Maybe you are working through some issues of trauma in your past or in your family, right? Generational trauma. So letting go of some of these old survival mechanisms that have been needed, and maybe what it looks like to have the freedom to not be burdened by them anymore, whatever those emotional patterns or energy patterns might look like in your life or in your family dynamics, right? All of that. So attending to your own need for balance and self-care and honoring of yourself and your process. And in this process, we can remember that peace is a process and it's not a destiny. we don't we don't arrive at peace and then, that's like the happily ever after ending in those old-fashioned stories. It's like, oh, okay, we reached peace and then we were done. Has your life ever worked like that? Maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody out there does, but at any rate, I think that peace continues to be like, it's an invitation to balance. And so when we respond to that invitation and we say, okay, here's where things have gotten a little out of balance, here's what I need a little more of, a little less of, here's how I can take care of myself. And in this process of finding that balance point, and then it is kind of a magic point. It doesn't, and then things change, conditions change and the balance point changes. So we have to respond and we get to learn and grow. And really, if everything were perfect all the time, we wouldn't have this chance to learn and grow. So life is such a dynamic process and such a journey. And this Libra solar eclipse reminds us of the importance of balance and how it functions in our lives, not as a single destination, but as a process, as the ability to find that place where we experience the shift, the magic balance point where, maybe there's a breakthrough or an aha moment or a creative inspiration or a discovery of something you didn't realize before. Those magic points of balance are moments. So practicing the enjoyment of those moments when they happen, helps to bring them in more and more. And then we get to live life from the awe and wonder that the experience and the process of life really can be. Not as perfection. I mean, maybe it's perfect in its imperfection, and we've been talking about that, but being perfect means also being imperfect, right? That as we consider what it means to experience perfection means that we are also willing to let that perfection be a moment, and then it changes, and then there's another invitation to learn and discover and reveal deeper truths and more about who we really are. So, lots to think about for this Libra solar eclipse. And, we have the outer planet alignments. I shared on a recent video about Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus in a sextile pattern, bringing in some opportunities here in the bigger picture for creativity and accessing solutions. So, there are some important energetic alignments, and when we are showing up for who we can be, showing up for ourselves, showing up to be a force for love and caring in the world, we can continue this process of participating in seeking balance and beginning by doing it in our own lives. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Marina Orms. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com, more about the healing process and the manifestation process and what your chart is inviting you to do. You can work with me and see how to do that at astrologyheals.com. Thanks for being here and subscribing to this YouTube channel. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.